Hey everybody, Jordan Nelson here. Today we're going to talk about wedding audio and the type of audio that I use. Now this channel is pretty much for beginners here because I'm a beginner myself. Been doing wedding videography for less than a year, but I want to encourage you as you're watching all these things online, like these amazing, incredible videos that you're seeing that people have been doing this wedding videography stuff for years and they have the top of the line equipment. You're thinking, man, I can never do anything like that. I'm never gonna get to that level. How much does that camera cost? I'm in the same boat with you right now. I started out with just one camera and then a tripod, and then invested in a glide cam, then later invested in Rode Videomic Pro. I just got my one-person setup, but recently I just got the Tascam DR-10L and I'm here testing it out. So I want you guys to hear it and hear the difference between the Rode Videomic Pro and this Tascam. Now when I just had my Rode Videomic Pro on top of my camera, when people would say, hey, could you get audio of us up in front of the ceremony saying our vows? And my answer was, I couldn't live. If you wanted it to be good audio that you wanted to be played over the video, I couldn't do it live. What I'd have to do is the night before, the morning of, or whatever, is have you read your vows, if you have personal vows or something like that, and then I can go ahead and put it over top of that video, which I did that in the video and it worked great. That's the way they wanted it, but it led to less versatility, and if they want it to be this raw moment of them having their vows played over the video, or even the pastor speaking, if people want that, I was not able to give it to them. So I wanted some versatility here, but be encouraged, like I did a year or so of this without any lavalier mic here to put on the groom during the ceremony or anything like that, and was able to make it work. Now, so these microphones, the Rode Videomic Pro is what I have playing right now, what I've had playing during this entire video so far. So now we're gonna switch over to the Tascam DR-10L, this little guy, which is connected here, and I have it up here connected, and it's about 3 to 4 inches from where I'm talking, so my voice is going over the microphone. You don't want it super close in here or else it's gonna sound bad like this. You don't want that. And then there's some good options with this little guy as well. So I've been playing with it. I mean, it has your pretty basic stuff. It has your gain, so you can go up and down. And what is really cool about this one is that it has dual tracks. So when you record the audio, you have it at one level. So if you set it at, well, let's say the highest level, but whatever you set it at, it's going to give you a second track that has a lower decibel volume. So it's going to record 2 tracks. So let's say one of them is really blown out, the person's talking and it's just peaking all the time. You have that lower one that's a backup. So that is really, really helpful if you end up, peaking your levels too high for you to have good audio. So I think that's really good, especially in a wedding when things just happen once. You're not on a movie shoot or shooting a TV show where you get to do some takes. Like, this is a one-shot deal. So I think it's helpful kind of backup. So I'd always turn that on. This also has a low cut filter. So when there's maybe a really loud air conditioner or low rumbling noises, it keeps it from those really low decibel things kind of getting in there and humming at you. And this microphone also has what's called a limiter. So the limiter would help against higher decibel sounds. A lot of times there's a sudden noise or maybe a really loud laugh. So that kind of cuts off those really high peaks so it doesn't just totally distort your audio. Now in a wedding, what you want to do is you want to hook this up to the groom. You want to make sure that you don't have it so low that it's not going to pick up all 3 of them. But the bride and the groom and the officiant typically are pretty close together, and I think this microphone would pick them up just fine. It's just that if you have it too low in post-production, you're going to have to crank it up, and there's going to be a lot of noise in there that you don't want. So I would say go ahead and lean a little bit high, but test it. Before you do anything, I haven't done a wedding with this thing yet. I'm just thinking on principle and things I've kind of tested with here with it. I just love that dual track. So I'm gonna lean a little bit higher so I'm not gonna have to crank it up in post, but also not be afraid about peaking every single time someone talks. Yeah, as far as lav mics go, this is a really good one, really good option, especially for weddings, especially if you're a beginner too. If you're stuck on the microphone game, I think this is one to shoot for, and the audio is just great as you can hear. It's plenty sufficient for those wedding videos. And I think it's gonna capture great audio, and it's really gonna blow people away when you're doing their weddings. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful, maybe gave you an idea of one mic to look into and some of the benefits of having a lav mic versus a Rode Videomic Pro. But I also want you to know, whatever you have, it's not about the equipment, it's about what you can do with what you have and how creative you can be in getting the shots you want to get. So just go out there, learn, continue to keep going and going. Don't just look at what everyone's doing who's been doing this for 10 to 15 years and has, you know, people and $1,000 worth of cameras. Just go ahead, work with what you got, keep growing, keep learning. You're just gonna capture a lot of awesome moments. So just go out there and let that be your goal, to serve the people that you're shooting these films for, and just have fun doing it. That's what it's all about. This is a privilege to get to do these things. We don't want to take this for granted as a creative community and just always be thinking, man, this isn't good enough, this isn't good enough. We want to really be excited and really be thankful for this opportunity that we even get to shoot these weddings. It's just a fun experience to get to share that with people. So have fun doing this, and do it with a thankful heart. All right, thanks so much, guys. I'll talk to you next time.